Tonight, we're reaching out to the community to see what has changed in Ferguson after the St. Louis suburb was hit with a second round of protests just 1 year ago today.
You may remember the strong and violent reaction after a grand jury decided not to charge Darren Wilson. He was the police officer who shot and killed 18-year-old Michael Brown in August of last year. More than 20 buildings were destroyed and other businesses were looted after the decision last November.
Today, it's a different place. The city has a black city manager, judge, police chief, and several new council members. ABC 17's Lucas Geisler was there during the riots. He joins us now again live from Ferguson. And Lucas, you found out that much has been rebuilt since that ruling.
Marissa and Joey, you definitely remember, as you just saw, the images of burning buildings back on November 24th, 2014, here in downtown Ferguson. Now, today, there has been a lot of rebuilding going on. A lot of shops that were once closed are now reopened. And here, where they're building a new building, on the fence, you can see many different pieces of art that just this morning, artists have been painting. Many of them, this one in particular in front, says, "To achieve peace, we must work together for justice." I did speak to one of the artists of the second work here on the fence, Rachel Azen. She's an artist from St. Louis who says that she usually works smaller and usually makes collages with paper. Now, this was a little bit outside of what she's used to, bringing it to a larger scale and using paint on it. But she says that she watched as the civil unrest grew throughout the last year in St. Louis and felt moved to do something about it. In particular, it started as just a postcard-sized idea that, once it was seen by some artists, got passed along to the History Museum of St. Louis, as well as the Ferguson Committee co-chair, Reverend Starsky Wilson. They all loved the work and started to pass it around even more. She says that the idea of the painting was based on faith, and that it was going to be faith that that really helped people power through times of strife. And in this case, she also had a particular meaning between the two figures that were pushing the pieces of the arch together.
And the idea of the two people bringing it together, I wanted to make sure it wasn't a starkly black or starkly white, because there's so many different kinds of people. It's not just about being black and white, you know?
Now, Azen says that the art belongs to everybody. She was first concerned that she didn't want the story to be about her, but instead the art and what it represents. She says that it's through that to let people know that they're not alone, that there are other people that feel how she feels, and they can help bring them together here in Ferguson. Reporting live in Ferguson, Lucas Geisler, ABC 17 News.
And a number of businesses have opened in Ferguson over the last year. That includes the city's first Starbucks, which agreed to sell a product from a local bakery that was vandalized last year. The new store opens in the spring, and the partnership will cover, we're told, at least 11 locations.
Hearings have been underway at the state capitol in Jefferson City since earlier this year, looking at the decisions made by Governor Nixon and the response to the riots. That process is still going on tonight, and the main question still unanswered is who was in charge. Local leaders maintain the National Guard was never in Ferguson as promised, but state leaders say just the opposite. For a complete look at the testimony provided by officials about that night, we have that posted on our website, abc17news.com. The city of Ferguson still faces a federal wrongful death lawsuit from Michael Brown's family. We checked with lawyers for the city, Darren Wilson, and the Brown family, but no one wanted to comment.